and welcome to Seeds of Sustainability. We are so happy that you've joined us. Today we're at the Farmers Market with Ryan Kate doing a chef demo in the background, and events like this happen regularly out here at the market. So make sure that you go to our website, coppellfarmersmarket.org, for updates on those dates. This episode is going to take us out to Cottonwood Creek Elementary, where we're going to meet teachers and students as they begin planting their garden. We're also going to join Peter Lecca as he's going to go over our plant of the month. But first, we are going to go out to Latte Da Dairy, where we meet one of our vendors of the market and learn about their operations. Today we're at Latte Da Dairy, a 3-year vendor at our Coppell Farmers Market, and today we're going to meet Ann Jones as she tells us about her goats as well as her cheese making.
Latte Da Dairy started in 2007, and our goal was to produce a very fine quality cheese, and we felt that the main thing for fine quality cheese was to start out with good milk, really good quality milk. So that was our goal. So we have 2 breeds of goats here, Nubians and La Manchas. We milk the goats here, we actually make the cheese here, and then we take it to the markets, so it's extremely fresh. That's one of the advantages we have over any other goat cheese, is that it goes straight from the farm to the consumer, cutting out any kind of travel time, carbon imprints, and things like that.
So tell us about the difference between the Nubians and the La Manchas.
Nubians and La Manchas are the 2 breeds of goats that we have at Latte Da, and we have them for several reasons. The first 2 goats I had were Nubians. They're just delightful, sweet, sweet goats with beautiful, long, pendulous ears. There's pictures of them on the website, and we also have some video of them as well. Their milk qualities are that they have just wonderfully sweet milk, butterfat, a really nice level of butterfat that makes the milk just wonderfully rich, and also protein. And those are the components that go into just really, really good cheese. La Manchas, on the other hand, have short little ears, so they're the exact opposite of the Nubians with the longest ears. They have tiny little short ears, and we're often asked, why do you cut those ears off? And we would never do that. That's just the way they're born. They also have a nice level of butterfat and protein. They also tend to be very productive goats, very adaptable and very smart. So it's kind of fun having the 2 breeds together. La Manchas tend to kind of lead the pack, and the Nubians tend to follow. The other thing about the breeds, Nubians are the oldest breed of dairy goat. They were actually developed, came from an area in Africa, now part of Egypt, called Nubia. And so they're really the oldest dairy goat breed out there. And then the La Manchas are actually the newest dairy goat breed, and the only dairy goat breed that was developed here in the United States. Some people took a Spanish goat that had the name La Mancha and began mixing in and crossing in and creating what they perceived as the perfect dairy goat, which is productivity in terms of volume, but also components of butterfat and protein, and then durability, adaptability, persistence in their milking, and just great personality. So they are really the only dairy goat that is made in the U.S. We have roughly 50-50, probably more Nubians than La Manchas. And right now on our milk line, we have 36 goats on the milk line. Each goat produces in the neighborhood of about 3 quarts of milk a day. That's sort of the average. Some produce more, some produce a little bit less.
And how many times a day do you milk?
Twice a day, whether we feel like it or not. Yeah, the goats are on a schedule, and they expect us to be out at the barn milking, and if we're not there on time, they start hollering for us. So we milk every morning right about 6 o'clock in the morning, and we milk at 4:30 in the afternoon every day, and the goats are used to that kind of schedule. From the holding area, we bring in 6 at a time, and they come up this ramp and come up into the head gates. We have something called a cascading head gate system, where the goat can't stop at the first feed bucket. She has to go to the last one on the end. That way they're not backing up down the ramp. And when she drops her head in, it opens up the next opening for the next goat and the next goat and the next goat. And surprisingly, they learn this very quickly. It doesn't take much to teach them the routine. Once they're up there, their feed is up there, they're wanting to come in and eat, and we adjust their feed based on production. So somebody who's making a lot of milk gets an extra scoop of feed. Somebody who's not making so much milk or getting a little fluffy, we end up backing up a little bit on their feed. When we have the goats up here while they're eating, we milk them. We can milk 3 goats at a time. And this is our setup here for milking. These are called inflations. And when the goat, we clean and prep the udder meticulously because we don't want any kind of dirt in the milk, and we also want to keep their udders healthy. And we hook them up here, and the milk comes through the tubes, and with a vacuum system ends up in our pipeline and ultimately into the bulk tank next door. And I mentioned cleanliness. That's something that I'm really fanatical about. I joke about doing surgical scrubs on our udders because to me, good milk quality starts number one with a healthy animal and a healthy udder, but you can take good milk and ruin it very quickly by not being clean about how one milks it. So that's really, really important. And like I said earlier, we want to have really good milk quality because we want really good cheese. We can make a bad cheese from really good milk, but we can't make a good cheese from bad milk. So it all starts here with the goats.
So you said you start with the milking. What does your day look like after that?
We make cheese, and we make cheese several days during the week. We take the milk and we pasteurize the milk. We have a pasteurizer where we heat the milk to 145 for 30 minutes. That's considered legal pasteurization. It's mildly pasteurized. It's not super high heat or ultra pasteurized, so it maintains a lot of the beneficial components and proteins in the milk. It's heated for 30 minutes at that temperature, and then we cool it down to whatever temperature it is we need that day for cheese making.
Tell us about the different types of cheeses that you make here.
Absolutely. The main thing people think of when they think of goat cheese is a soft, creamy cheese. It's a French-style cream cheese, tangy like yogurt, creamy like cream cheese. So that's our mainstay when people think about goat cheese. But we've also ventured into other types of cheese. We make a feta cheese, which either plain or with Kalamata olives, and that was actually the cheese that kind of got me into the commercial venue. I was milking just 2 goats for ourselves and making this cheese with Kalamata olives, and I entered an amateur cheese competition with the American Dairy Goat Show and ended up being best amateur cheese in the show. It's like, wow, that's pretty cool. So I felt like I was onto something. I was doing something special with the goats and making a really fine quality product. So things kind of fall in place and things evolve, and we became a real dairy. Now we're actually making hard cheeses as well. We have several varieties of hard cheeses, and at this point we're the only farmstead goat cheese maker in Texas making a hard cheese, so that's something really unique to us in this area. We make a manchego, Spanish-style cheese. We make a Carefilly, which is a cheddar-style cheese, and that cheese has actually won multiple awards with American Dairy Goat as well as the American Cheese Society. We do a Cotswold, an English-style cheese with chive and onion. We're playing around with another goat cheese called Cabra, which is just the word for goat, and we're playing around with different surface treatments, rubbing it with olive oil. We have one variety in the cave right now with some rosemary in it, so we love to be able to do different things and provide different variety to our customers as well. Here's some of the cheeses that we made last week. This is actually a jack cheese. We made it last Friday, and it was put into brine to get salt into the cheese, and then we've coated it with sort of like a wax coating that protects the surface and keeps unwanted molds and things from getting into the cheese. Once these are totally dry, these will go into the cheese cave, and they'll age for 6 to 8 weeks before we start taking them to market. So this is a room that's actually been repurposed. This initially was my milk parlor, and now it's become our cheese press room. We used to bring 2 goats in at a time and hand milk, and now we've gone beyond that to a pipeline and other methods. With our hard cheeses, they need to be pressed with a certain amount of weight to make the curds stick together. And so that's what this is a very simple press machine, and I can show you how it works. What we basically do, pretend there's a cheese in here and the lid. We put the curd in there, and then when we're going to press the cheese, we put the press down on it, and then we raise this up, like that, and then we put weights here. And so that actually puts weight on the cheeses. Some of our cheeses are pressed for 12 hours, some of them 4 hours, some of them for 16 hours. It just depends on the variety of cheese that we're making. And this is just strictly for the hard cheeses. The soft cheeses aren't pressed at all. They're just let to drain naturally.
Tell us why you choose to sell your cheese at the Coppell Farmers Market.
Coppell's one of the best farmers markets in the area and in the state of Texas. And the reason why it is such a good market is that it really promotes local producers. There's not a lot of reselling or things like that, that people actually produce what they make. And I think that's what people come to the market for, is they want to actually talk to the person who milked that goat or picked that zucchini, and that's a huge thing. There's lots of markets around that don't really have that kind of setup, but Coppell is like that. The other thing is markets are a wonderful place to meet customers, and customers enjoy meeting us, but we enjoy meeting them too, and we enjoy hearing feedback on our products, ideas from customers, and there's a relationship that is built there because these customers come back week after week. Mm-hmm. It's such a huge thing now. Everybody is so in tune with local, buying local, wanting to buy local, and I would just encourage people to really understand what that means, and that means that you're buying from people who produce within a certain radius. Every week I get a call from somebody, they want to have a neighborhood farmers market and they want me to come with my cheese, and I would love to do that, but there's only one of me and a couple employees, so we can't do that. But their idea of local is that it's local to them, as in going down the street. And really a local means is finding producers that produce within a certain radius and supporting big markets where producers can come together, like Coppell is a great way to support the local movement and really contribute to it, and to also get some just fabulous fresh produce, fresh cheeses, fresh products.
As we leave the dairy today, they want everyone to know that there's an open house November 8th from 11 to 3, so come on out and enjoy this wonderful dairy. Thank you, Ann. We always look forward to seeing you out at the market. So now let's travel out to Cottonwood Creek Elementary as they begin their planting of their fabulous garden.
If you love dirt, clap once. If you love broccoli, clap 2 times. If you're happy to be in the garden today, clap 3. Great, because we have a lot to do today. So I want everybody's eyes looking at me so we can have a little bit of direction. Okay, make a line right here if you want to plant a flower. Okay, then you've got to fill with dirt. So your first job is to fill all the empty holes with dirt.
Tell us about your role at Cottonwood Creek Elementary.
I am the physical education teacher, and we wrote a grant to be a healthy zone school in training, and that grant is from the Cooper Institute of Dallas and the United Way, and we received it 3 years ago. And out of that grant, we decided that we'd have a school garden. Then we wrote an educational foundation grant and was granted $2,000 to start our garden. And so for the last 3 years, we have built it from the little black tubs that the kindergartners planted to coming into full swing with our big cinder block raised beds, and just have a variety of plants for the kids to plant. We have what we call Genius Hour the first 3 Fridays of the month, and kids get to choose a passion. And the ones that you see here in the background are ones that have chosen the passion of the garden. So this is a new group this year. We just started Genius Hour 2 weeks ago, and so they're pretty new. I have some returners that have been with me for a while, but then we have some rookies here that are just starting out with the garden. So they'll come out on those Fridays and we'll water, we'll talk about it, we'll watch them grow, we'll take measurements, we harvest. We have 2 beds that we planted last winter. So the kale bed that you saw and the chard bed that you saw were planted last winter. Those are going to be our sustainable beds where they will come back every year. So we have a crew that waters in the summer and just keeps it going, and hopefully it's great. it's fun.
What do you love best about the garden?
I think it teaches kids that you can plant something, see it grow, and you can eat it. You can take it farm to table. And we had a good example of that at Earthfest in Coppell last year. Our booth at Earthfest was, we harvested our cabbages, we harvested our kale, and then the kids got to go into our cafeteria, and our cafeteria chefs helped them make slaw, kale chips. We harvested our herbs, and we took that as a taste test to the Earthfest. So it actually came from our garden, and the kids got to tell about it, and I think that reward of them seeing it. We have taste tests in our salad bar every so often, and so like Chef Helen's taking salad to make up for something for next week. So just bringing it from here to the cafeteria, I think, is the bigger reward.
One thing I do is I work with our nutritionist, our dietitian, and I help devise menus for all the schools. high school all the way through K through 12, if you will. So we write all the menus, and I basically create most of the recipes. But a lot of times I'll have to create them to her specifications. The other thing I get to do is I get to go around, and I've created over the years the character Chef Helen. And the idea is that when I go through the lunchroom, the kids know, oh, Chef Helen, you know, it's kind of fun for me, it's whoa. But it's also, the idea is that when they grow up, they will have a memory of this crazy lady who said, hey, taste everything, you know, and it won't be so scary, you know, and so that's my idea. That way they'll be open to tasting weird greens like chard and kale and dandelion, which we found today. Today we're gathering, well, just anything that is ready to harvest. I've got some cucumber in there, I've got kale, I've got chard, I've got, I think, one zucchini. I've got that dandelion, and we'll use it on the salad bar. That's really the easiest way. I've set up rules on how to harvest cleanly so that when it gets into the kitchen, it's clean, and then how to handle it in the kitchen too. So we're pretty careful about, obviously, about what we feed children. But we also, like on the chard and stuff, we'll probably chop it up, marinate it, and put it out on the salad bar next week.
Well, I like planting and like digging up holes so we could put it in and put the dirt back in to fill it up.
I can be with my friends, and I can pick out plants to bring home, because I personally like my vegetables. Either broccoli or carrots. Those are my two all-time favorites.
And sometimes we grow fruits like the watermelon, and I like potatoes, and I like the lettuce and kale.
This is something that I knew I'd love because I had one at home, and I love to do it. I recommend having a garden because well, vegetables are very healthy for you, and so are fruits. So the more you eat fruits and vegetables, it will make you stronger. When I'm here, I feel safe.
I think the biggest benefit is being out here and being physically active. And you know, we move, we're digging, we're lifting, we're getting dirty, we're just moving our body and getting fresh air. It's like a big free play space. There's nothing you can't do in the garden that will hurt anything unless you pick a plant up by its roots. And we teach them the responsibility of what the plant does and how it grows. So I think the biggest reward to me and for the kids is to come out in the sunshine, dig in the dirt with their hands, and just enjoy what it looks like to be dirty.
Can you tell me a little bit about the progress from going from the garden to the classroom?
Part of this activity is a reflection when they go back. So there'll be times when I'll give them something, I'll say, okay, we need to go research what plant we just planted and what we're doing. We did that last week, and some of them brought back, well, we saw the watermelons because they were out, and we saw the cucumbers as we still had some summer things out. So they'll research that. They will come back to me and tell me that. We even talked about at the end of last year, what should we plant? So took that into consideration. Some of them said Brussels sprouts and cauliflower and stuff, so I was able to do that. We don't do a lot from seed just because our growing time for the school year is so short, and I want them to see something. So we will put in a spring garden with tomatoes, but they don't get to see it. They really are gone in the summer, and so unless they come as a parent family. So we focus a lot on our winter garden because they will get to see everything that's grown. The cauliflower will be up, the broccoli, and we do have some failures. Some things don't happen or turn out, and we talk about that too. I mean, we had fencing up for a long time because we had rabbits and the bunnies would get in and just munch it down, or the raccoons or possums, or caterpillars. So we see things.
Now, of course, you have fruits and vegetables in the garden, but you also have flowers. And so tell us a little bit about why you have the flowers.
Well, we're out on the prairie, and we had no pollinators. So where people in rural communities, I grew up in Oklahoma, very fertile, very flowerful, very much, but we're on the flat prairie, so we needed the pollinators to bring our plants to maturity. And so when we first started, we didn't have that, and we were just getting little stubs, and they weren't doing well. Once we started planting flowers, and that's why I chose to do the cinder blocks versus just a cedar bed, we have the opportunity to plant flowers all around. And when it gets real warm and not cold today, you'll see bees everywhere, and they're good bees. And the kids learn that too, that those kind of bees are helping our plants. They're not gonna go bite you or sting you. We have a little wasp house over there. It's the bird house. So, you know, they've made a nice house and they go visit the plants and they pollinate them, and so it's good. We had a donation of trees, and so we planted flowering trees. So we have a plum, we have 2 red buds, we have a fig, and something called a loquat that will be some flowers too. So we bordered it with low shade trees, but had a purpose with the flowering trees. So we get the pollinators.
It's always great to see kids working in the garden, and studies have shown that time and time again, when kids are out in the garden, they want to eat more healthfully. While we're here, let's check in with Ryan Kate and see what she's up to here at the Farmers Market.
Today we're going to be making 3 dishes, garlic salmon packets with citrus and vegetables, and an autumn fruit cappuccino and salad on a stick. I'm going to start with the salmon packet. So you're going to get a double layer of foil, and you're going to get your salmon. I get mine from Costco because we bought it at like fresh at different delis and places like that, but it always seems to have that fishy taste sometimes. So we just buy it like this, and it's usually really fresh because it's fresh caught and then right into the package, frozen fresh. So I'm just gonna cut that open. There we go, okay. And so now we're gonna kinda just shape it like a little boat so that all the juices don't like fall out of here when we put our other stuff on. And so now we have some rice vinegar and soy sauce that I've already measured out. And we're gonna spoon that over the top. Some seasoning. And then here I have some fresh ginger, lemon, lime zest, and garlic. And I don't know how many of y'all have seen fresh ginger root, but this is what it looks like. Kind of looks kind of crazy all over the place. But if y'all want to pass it around and smell it, y'all can. Someone want to pass that around, y'all can check it out. It's pretty cool. Every time every time we go to like the store, my mom likes to let me pick out something that I've never tried before. And when I was younger, I picked out the ginger root, and I ended up cooking with it and loving it. So we're gonna put all that on here. And then we're gonna zest some orange. A lot of y'all have probably eaten oranges before. They're tasty, they're a great snack, you love them with lunch. But has anyone ever thought about using the outside? Maybe not. So we're gonna zest a little bit of that orange in here. Adds great flavor to the salmon, goes awesome with the ginger y'all are passing around. And I absolutely love it. Just gonna get all that good stuff in there. Turn while we zest. And then I'm gonna keep spooning that on to our, a little bit more. Just gonna pour that on top. And then this doesn't say it in your recipe, but I like to throw in a couple vegetables because it gives it some awesome color. And it tastes great. It looks really pretty. So I'm gonna add some julienned red and orange bell peppers, some fresh cherry tomatoes, and some green beans. And we're gonna wrap these up in our little foil packets.
Can you kind of see that? I don't know if y'all knew it, but on Facebook.
If you're still looking to try new plants out in your garden, make sure to listen to this next segment with Peter Lecca as he goes over the plant of the month.
In the hot, sizzling North Texas summers, there are a few plants that do well. It's the tough Texas perennials that really showcase and bloom like crazy when it's over 100 degrees. One of those plants is the beautiful Texas flame acanthus. This is a great shrub for your landscape because it doesn't start blooming until it basically gets over 100 degrees. And what's also great about it is that it's a great hummingbird attractor. So if you're looking for a shrub to plant in your yard that's going to give you beautiful foliage, beautiful flowers, when the triple digits are out, you want to grow this flame acanthus.
Thanks, Peter. Remember, for updates on upcoming events, make sure to go to coppellcommunitygarden.org. And for updates on upcoming events, activities, and ways to get involved with the Coppell Farmers Market, go to coppellfarmersmarket.org. Thank you so much for coming and watching our episode today. Until next time, bye-bye.